It's time for the review of the Australian GP weekend. Albert Park changed a little since the last time we had F1 racing, with the chicane in turns 9 and 10 being completely removed amongst minor changes. Other than a few drivers locking up in the new, wider turn 3, and Seb Vettel giving us a new meme to be overused on F1 Twitter, which by the way cost him a hefty fine of €5,000, FP1 was pretty uneventful, with the Ferrari stopping the session with the Red Bulls behind them. As FP1, FP2 was also uneventful, with the Ferraris finishing P1 and P3, with Max slotting in between them. The Alpines also showed some pace, with Alonso finishing P4 and Ocon P6, giving hopes of a good performance on Saturday for the French outfit. Saturday started off with Vettel having a big shunt at turn 9, leaving his mechanics with a lot of work before qualifying. As if it wasn't bad enough for the Aston Martins, Lance also crashed at the end of the session, meaning that both cars needed reparations done to them. FP3 was stopped by Lando Norris, with his teammate being 6th, giving McLaren something to build upon for qualifying. Now, speaking of qualifying, the two Canadians of the grid thought that there wasn't enough action on track and crashed, ending both of their sessions. The red flag meant that the Aston Martin mechanics had enough time to finish reparations on Seb's car, but the German only managed 18th on his one-time lap. The Haas of Magnussen, which lacked pace so far, finished 17th, and Alex Albon was the other driver eliminated in Q1. Perhaps the biggest surprise of Q2 was Valtteri Bottas ending his streak of 103 Q3s in a row, finishing P12.
Traditions.
Mick Schumacher, Joe, and the two Alpha Tauris were eliminated, meaning that only 5 constructors made it to Q3. It seemed like Alonso might be on provisional pole after the first set of runs, but the Spaniard crashed at turn 11. It also meant that Sainz's lap was deleted as he wasn't able to finish the lap before the red flag. Charles Leclerc took pole position by a staggering 2.8 tenths of a second in front of Max. The other Red Bull of Perez finished 3rd, while Norris built upon his success in FP3 and finished 4th. The biggest surprise of Q3 was Sainz, who only managed 9th as he wasn't able to get a clean lap in. Now onto the race. The race got off to a clean start, with Carlos Sainz being the biggest loser of the start, ending up in 14th place at the end of the first lap. As if it wasn't bad enough for the Spaniard, he beached his car at the exit of turn 10 while trying to overtake Mick Schumacher on the next lap, forcing the safety car to make its first appearance of the race. On lap 23, an exciting battle for the effective third place of the race was brewing up between Hamilton and Perez. The Mexican overtook Hamilton on the entry of the chicane at turn 9, but compromised his exit of the chicane, meaning that Hamilton had the pace advantage for the straight. But just about as Hamilton was going to overtake Perez, the safety car was brought out because Vettel dropped it on the exit of turn 4. Perhaps giving Hamilton some unpleasant flashbacks with safety cars. On lap 39, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen had a mechanic failure, forcing the world champion to retire from the race. It's his second and Red Bull's third retirement in 3 races, costing both the driver and the team crucial points for the title races. Williams pulled a strategic masterclass by starting Albon on the hards and only pitting him on the last lap, giving his and the team's first points of the season. But the weekend was all about Leclerc, who led from pole, had the fastest lap, and won the race, giving Ferrari the first Grand Slam since Alonso did it in 2010. Perez and Russell completed the podium, with Hamilton finishing 4th and the McLarens finishing 5th and 6th. An overall exciting race compared to the previous ones in Australia, with the cars being able to follow each other during the race. Charles put himself in pole position for the title, even if it's just the 3rd race of the season, with the Ferraris being the team to beat. Red Bull need to get their reliability together if they want to put up a fight with the Italians, while Mercedes has still a little progress to do. The midfield battle is as feisty as ever, with a different team leading the pack every weekend. Loser of the weekend. It was a weekend to forget for Carlos Sainz, who looked a step behind his teammate the whole weekend long, only qualifying 9th and retiring from the race on the 2nd lap. The same thing can be said about his idol Alonso, who looked for a potential 2nd row start but only managed 10th due to no fault of his own. He didn't fare any better during the race, being 4th at 1 point but coming home in last place. But the biggest loser of the weekend was Aston Martin, having to fix Vettel's car due to him crashing in free practice, as well as facing reliability issues. The mechanics also needed to fix Stroll's car after his crash with Latifi during qualifying. The race didn't go any better for the outfit, with Vettel crashing and Stroll coming home in 12th, meaning that they are the only team without a point in 2022. Winner of the weekend. Honorable mention goes to Albon and the Williams strategists, who pulled off an excellent race, finishing 10th, as well as Mercedes and McLaren, who both made progress from the last race. But without a doubt, the biggest winner of the weekend was Leclerc, who topped FP1 and FP2 as well as being on pole and leading every single lap of the race. He's in incredible form and will be looking on to build upon this momentum come Imola. This about does it for Australia. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time for the review of the Imola weekend.